Good evening. This is a call to order for the March 9th City of Canal Winchester Planning and Zoning meeting. Mr. Deeds, roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie. Here. Mr. Willenthaler.
Here.
Mr. Donahue.
Here.
Ms. Gooden.
Here.
Ms. McDonald.
Here.
Mr. Deeds here, and Mr. Cosgrove.
Here.
All right. Now I'll need approval of our February 9th, 2026 minutes, please.
Approved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Paulsgrove. Roll call. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Gooden.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes, and Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes. All right, now our public comment for items that are not on our agenda this evening. So if anybody's here to speak on an item that is not on the agenda, now would be the time. Okay.
That may be me.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure if it's on the agenda or not.
So the time limit, ma'am, is 3 minutes, and we won't, if you could just sign in and then state your name for the record, we won't start the
Okay.
timer until you,
I did sign in.
okay.
So my name's Roberta Rutherford, and I'm located at 190 Woodsview Drive. And I don't know if this is the proper way to go about this, so, but I'm here in regards to the letter I got from Planning and Zoning.
Okay.
And they said they were discussing, I guess one of my neighbors in the backyard is
Yep.
planning on building a house there.
Yep, so that's our first application, so you will actually have a chance to speak on that momentarily.
Okay.
It's on the
Should
agenda.
I sit down?
You can sit down. At the moment. Yep, thank you. So now will be time for public oath. So anybody that's has intention to speak to the commission this evening, if you could please stand and take an oath. So if there's any chance you'll talk to the commission. You do.
Me too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you swear to be truthful in the testimony you give and tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you. And I will turn it over to Mr. Moore for our first application.
The first application on tonight's agenda is variance 26-003. The address of the subject property is the vacant parcel 184-000-686, located on the north side of Franklin Street. The applicant is requesting a variance from Chapter 1185.07D, which requires garages in all residential zoning districts. This subject property is just shy of a quarter acre of land on the north side of Franklin Street. This property currently only features an accessory building on the lot. The subject property and all surrounding are zoned low-density residential, can consist of single-family dwellings in the Die Addition, which was platted in this first phase in the 1950s. The subject property, again, is a vacant parcel with an accessory building on it. You can kind of see the outline of the shed in the back. This parcel is currently owned by the same owner as the parcel to the right. Prior ownership, both property owners also own, the same property owner owned both parcels, was granted a variance to build that shed by the Planning and Zoning Commission for the shed to be constructed on a property that did not feature a principal structure or, in other words, a home. This applicant, which recently acquired the property, is requesting approval to construct a new single-family dwelling on the lot highlighted in blue. The new single-family dwelling, they're requesting not to feature an enclosed garage space for automobile storage. When looking at the plans on the right, you can see what the applicant has put together for your review. Part of this discussion this evening will be not to construct the garage, or they've put an X through on the back of the house. You can read through their application here, and I want to go through my review for the criteria for approval. Special circumstances or conditions staff reviewed do not exist for the subject property. The property is of similar dimension to the other platted lots in this section of the Die Addition, all of which have fully enclosed garages, either detached or attached. The applicant has noted trees and a shed installed by a previous owner has created the special condition to be warranted by the Planning and Zoning Commission. However, the applicant's plans presented do not show any justification for not constructing the garage, as their plans show a garage does fit. The literal interpretation of the zoning code requires an enclosed parking area for all residential zoning districts. In review of all other developments, developed lots in the Dye addition, they all feature single-family homes with garages either attached or detached to the home. When looking at special conditions and circumstances, staff found that none exist for the proposed lot. The applicant recently purchased this parcel and the adjacent home from the previous property owner, which was given relief to build a shed on the lot. The applicant is seeking approval to construct a new home on the vacant lot, fully establishing 2 developed parcels. That the granting of the variance will provide undue privilege for this lot in the Dye addition specifically. All other lots are required to construct enclosed garage space. The applicant's proposal has a 22 by 24 foot parking pad directly between the building and the house. Between the house and the street. This parking pad does create a future variance request as it's wider than the current residential appearance standards that limit the driveway width of the right-of-way line at 10 feet. That granting this variance will adversely affect the public health, safety, convenience, comfort, prosperity, and general welfare for the neighborhood. The applicant has noted the desire to keep the existing tree line and note they believe that it has a greater community benefit than the construction of a garage. However, the applicant has not addressed the negative impact for not constructing a garage that it would have on the general public, and that it affects the functionality of the lot, the parking, and the architectural cohesiveness that affects the general welfare. With this application, the applicant also provided some photographs here for some visualization for the request. Again, the pine trees that they are noting to affect the placement of the garage on the lot. Also the existing shed that was on the property when they purchased it. And then just looking at the approximate location of the home with the existing conditions, noting the difficulty for the garage adaptability on the parcel. When staff was reviewing plot plans with the applicant, how to develop on the lot, the applicant shared something very similar in their presentation this evening, showing the garage would be attached to the rear of the home. The diagram on the right is a little more elaborate version of that was shared with staff previously. That shows how you could fit the driveway on the back to be a side load with a driveway that leads all the way back with a T turnaround to actually make this a functional space. So staff is recommending that VA 26003 be denied as presented.
Thank you. Questions for staff? And again, a reminder for the commission that this is a variance being requested to not require garage in the residential district.
When the original variance was granted, was there any discussion, conditions put upon future use?
For the shed?
Yes.
So the variance for the shed was to put a shed on a parcel that did not have a principal structure. This application would actually make that shed compliant without the variance need. So the variance would be moot if a house was built on the lot. And this illustration, just for reference, I know there's a lot of colors and lines on here. While not specifically called out in the applicant's letter here, there are 2 sanitary lines that run the east side of the property. So that kind of is shown in this graphic and is illustrated also in the driveway placement in the staff recommendations graphic as well.
And Mr. Moore, if the variance was granted, a future variance for the dimensions of the parking pad would be warranted upon the structure being built, is that correct?
As shown in this graphic, yes. If the applicant was to change this parking pad to be within our maximum width category, then no. But just based off of this one drawing, there's another variance that was identified.
So with the sanitary sewer that runs to the far east of the property line, is there ability to be, the land to be graded to have a driveway there based on the setbacks and based on where the proposed structure would be?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that staff worked internally on when originally looking at how to develop on this lot. There is the ability to put the driveway over top of those sanitary sewer easements. One is if I go back to this color graphic here, the one on the right is a force main. So it is a much easier, newer pipe that can be constructed over. The green is a gravity system. So really the whole Dye Addition neighborhood sanitary sewer flows north and then loops up by Groveport Road and then gets pumped back down this force main south. So the depths of these lines from our utility service directors review did not pose any issues with putting a driveway on top of it.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments for staff? Is the applicant present? Is there anything you wish to add? If you could just sign in and state your name.
Hi, I'm Alethea Patrick. I'll sign in. So you all have already read our application prior
Yeah.
to the meeting? Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to state that the entire intention for asking to not build the garage initially with the house build is just in case the trees would be damaged. The trees are really beautiful. The previous owner was a landscape architect, and we really did buy the property without this plan in mind. This was not our original plan, and so our family is definitely feeling led to build again, and we don't want to damage the trees. We don't want to affect our neighbors directly behind us or beside us by harming them. And I know there's no guarantee that what we're doing will or will not hurt them, but we have consulted an arborist who thinks that they should survive. So our intention with eliminating the garage initially was just to hopefully lower that impact of potential damage so that we don't lose all of them if something were to go in the negative. So I just wanted to call that out in case you just thought we wanted to didn't want to build a garage for an arbitrary reason. That's the reason, is to retain the beauty and planning of the property that was already established before we got there. So, did you want to say anything?
And if you were to build the garage,
Yes.
would the accessory structure be removed from the property?
No, that was another part of our initial conversation and why we proceeded to submit a request for variance, because that shed is quite large and we could use it as a garage space outside of housing our cars. So that was also kind of unique to the property, and we were trying to just plan as well as we could to maintain beauty and the integrity of the property itself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I do.
Yeah.
Please come back.
Hello.
When you were looking at this property, were you
Yes.
aware of the requirements to build a garage?
We were not planning to build at all. We planned to stay in the house at 246 and just use this as our yard. So that was never something that we had the
But
intention to do.
Did the seller tell you that you were required to do a garage
Oh, no.
in this
Mm-mm.
area?
No. We assumed so based on knowledge of the neighborhood, because we have actually built in this neighborhood prior. About 8 years ago, we built a house back on Cherokee. So we figured that was in the mix, and it is still possible for us. We just, again, we're trying to protect the trees that are established. If they were little shrubs, we wouldn't be here. They're just extremely integral to the corner of the lot and affect, as you can see, other people's homes. And so we know it'll be a little noisy while we're building, so we definitely didn't want to damage everyone's view in the process either. So, yeah.
But the shed in the back,
Yes.
it is quite cute. You had said in your
Yes.
application that it had some integral details that you really wanted to preserve.
Oh, yes.
But did you explore the option of expanding that into a two-car garage and be able to maintain the integrity of some of those features that you really love.
Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So square footage wise, that building is approximately the same size as what we'd be doing with garage. The reason that I don't believe we can turn it into a garage fully is one, the foundation, it's a raised type construction, so it's actually on like posts. But also there's the sanitary that runs just to the east. So
Okay.
getting a driveway back and doing any type of concrete placement, we'd be over top of the sanitary. It was requested by the city to do an asphalt driveway because of that reason. So that drawing's a little bit deceptive. The green line is actually just on the edge. It's probably about 5 feet off of that structure. So in doing all of this with the garage, that was the ideal spot for the garage to match the neighborhood. There are others that probably are attached, but most are detached in the back for this side of the road. So we felt that structure in some regard replaced that. And to speak a little more to the reason the garage may kill the trees, we've had multiple excavators who are like, yeah, it's probably gonna chop into the root system by the time we over limit dig on the excavation. So we're uncertain of that. And with putting the driveway on the east side, sorry, this is a lot.
We've had a lot of conversations.
With putting the driveway on the east side, the elevation is likely going to need to be raised. And the arborist said, well, if you raise it, then you have to, slope it 6 inches over 10 feet. Putting that dirt on the root system would likely kill the trees. So it just becomes a play with how high we do our elevation for the foundation. So then doing the road or the driveway along the side also, you have to raise things up and likely it would kill them. So
We don't want to do
yeah.
that.
So if the house in fact does kill the front set of trees, we'd obviously be looking at removing them at some point. But not doing the garage, it's almost guaranteed that the back set of 3 to 4 trees would probably survive. So half of them would at least survive the dig.
So the thought about putting a parking pad in the front yard in this neighborhood, is there anyone else that has a parking pad in the front yard?
There's not, and that was just kind of what we came up with. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. I mean, so in my note, I actually put that we would follow the approach. We could make it a 10-foot wide apron, and then it opens to 2 cars. We could simply do 1 car as well. For us, it wouldn't necessarily matter. We just thought, well, if you would approve a 2-car spot to go up in there, that would be more ideal for getting 2 cars off of the road, and maybe more meeting the intent of having
A small
a
driveway,
So,
essentially.
yeah, so that's why it appears that way in these drawings, is just how we were trying to think about it to accommodate most of the neighborhood. Is cars wouldn't be on the road, they'd be in the driveway.
Right. And the reason for asking that is because I just have this general aversion to having parking in the front yards, especially in this area with the
Yeah.
regulation of having garages in the back or whatever.
And we wouldn't be opposed to bringing the driveway, to the back of the house or some variation of that if the garage could be not built, but this was just a stab at what we were thinking.
Understood.
So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Any further discussion?
This is going to sound insensitive, please don't take it so. I've been in and around the city for a while, and we've tried to work around trees in the past. Columbus Street is a great example. And as we did that, I think we took out many trees, but we also saved many for a while. And then you look 20 years down the road and they're gone. So then you have a street that has all these notches and curves and waves and stuff like that because we worked around the trees. So I don't seem insensitive because I do love trees. There's many times I wish we'd have saved some of the old stands and stuff, but I'm not sure that the pines are probably of the, old growth, or it's a substantial, if they're going to run the risk of damaging them anyway. I'd prefer not to, work around the trees only later to not have them there, so.
So this is a variance request, and I will open it up for public comment. So if there's anybody that wishes to speak on this application, now would be the time. So Ms. Rutherford, if there's any comment that you'd like to make, you've got 3 minutes, so the floor is yours.
Thank you for listening to me there. My name's Roberta Rutherford, and my point there, I've received a letter concerning the variance that they were requesting. And my issue with it is the shed that's in back, I am not for sure that it's in the proper easement that it's supposed to be. So I know that these gentlemen, this family acquired the shed when they bought it. It's not their fault, they didn't build it. But, and I want to be a good neighbor, I don't want to cause no trouble or whatever, but my concern was, well, what if all of a sudden they build a house and then they run out of room and they have to move the shed further back or something? Because there's not a whole, if you see, there's not a whole lot of room between their shed and my shed. So that was my concern. I think there is a 5-foot easement. Now, I did not have it surveyed to see where the pins were, to see if they fall within that easement. I guess I was also concerned in the future, if I decide to sell my property, if it would become an issue when someone was going to buy it, because the shed it's tall and it's big, it's right up to my backyard. So that was my concern. So I don't know if there's anything else that I could do, or just I was just wanting to make a note of it.
Yep, thank you.
So.
Appreciate that. All right, any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we close public hearing.
Second.
All right, motion to close the public hearing made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Ms. McDonald. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Wollenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes, and Mr. Pelsgrove?
Yes.
All right, so again, this would be a motion to approve variance. It's a positive recommendation. If there's any further discussion from the commission on the application before a motion is made.
Okay, well, Mr. Chair, to move the agenda forward, I will make a motion that we approve variance VA-26-003 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Mr. Ritchie. Any further discussion on the motion?
Now, the only comment I'll make is I agree with Mr. Deeds on the trees, and you guys know, several of you know my property, and I love trees and big, pretty trees. But I also have a little bit of concern with looking at staff's recommendation and turning radius and getting into that garage. So I'm a little bit torn in both directions.
Thank you.
And as was mentioned, most of the other homes in that subdivision may not have two-car garage, but at least have single-car garages and driveways, so.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie?
No.
Mr. Wollenthaler?
No.
Mr. Donahue?
No.
Ms. Gooden?
No.
Ms. McDonald?
No.
Mr. Deeds? No. And Mr. Pelsgrove?
No.
All right, so variance VA 26-003 is not approved.
The next application on tonight's agenda is VA 26004. The address is 6569 Winchester Boulevard. The request this evening is a variance from the Waterloo Crossing Retail Center design standards to increase the max signage height and width on the subject property. This subject parcel is zoned general commercial and consists of the recently approved Phase 3 of the Waterloo Crossing Shopping Center. That was approved in November of 2025 by the Planning and Zoning Commission. that included a total of 11,094 square feet, building addition between Planet Fitness and Las Margaritas. Five Below is intending on taking the 8,300 square foot space that was known at the time as Tenant A, roughly scaled in here as the blue box. All surrounding properties are within the Waterloo Crossing Shopping Center. The applicant is requesting approval for the signage in this lower box on the screen. So there's 4 different sign requests. I'm going to try to do my best to describe them each separately, even though the graphics are consistent and show them all. The first is for the sign within this box. The Waterloo Crossing Shopping Center, when it was zoned general commercial, the ordinance that approved it at the time included a general site plan, a traffic plan, land use concept plan, and sign standards and building design standards. The signage standards for the retail center state that notwithstanding anything in this graphics plan to the contrary, inline tenants at the center shall be permitted exterior graphics only through the use of individual mounted letters. Internally lit individual mounted letters are to be attached to the building face. Letters shall be limited to 80% of the accent front and not to exceed 30 inches in height. The accent front in this applicant's proposal is this distance here to the main front of their store or their sign band, same distance. The applicant's signage is shown at 22 feet and 11/11/16 inches. 80% of the overall sign band at 25 feet would be 20 feet max in width. So it's 2 feet and 11/11/16 inches wider than the maximum of the 80%. The maximum letter height is 30 inches in height. The applicant's proposal showing letters at 39 inches in height. When staff reviewed the application for the variance request, special circumstances or conditions do not exist for the proposed retail expansion. The Planning and Zoning Commission in December of 2025 approved the design for the tenant space, which included the 25-foot by 6-foot sign band centered over the storefront. This sign band was sized smaller than the Planet Fitness sign band while scaling the heights and widths appropriately for the tenant space. That was one of the comments in the redesign from November to December. The maximum width, again for the tenant sign based off the design standards, is 20 feet wide. Staff did some really rough scaling, and even if you took the word Five Below and shrunk the width to be 20 feet, your letter height is still around like 33, 39, 34 inches tall. So it'll take some combination of squeezing and shrinking to get it to the maximum size if the applicant wants to do so. With the literal interpretation of the zoning code, the Waterloo Crossing retail design standards were designed for all tenants occupying less than 20,000 square feet for tenant space. Again, the applicant, their tenant space is just over 8,000 square feet. So not even half of that 20,000 square foot max that the retail center design standards are regulating for. When looking at this application plus the next application that will be discussed further, the applicant's signage exceeds really all standards, height, width, and overall maximum size. The special circumstances and conditions do not exist for the proposal, and they are direct actions from the applicant. Again, the Planning and Zoning Commission worked with the shopping center developer for a signage band that was approved for this tenant space to be compliant with their design standards. Granting this variance will put undue privilege on this tenant space, which is otherwise denied by the development standards of the shopping center, and that granting this variance would adversely affect the general welfare for the community. The design standards were put in place to have uniformity across all tenants in the plaza, allowing a new build within a new tenant within a new build to exceed these standards would carry through for all future tenants in that space. So if Five Below leaves, someone else comes, they'd be granted the same relief. So staff is recommending that the variance be denied as presented. Again, this is a copy from the Waterloo Crossing plans that were adopted by the city. The area in yellow notes the lines that I'm talking about here for its adoption. This little note is from, I'm assuming, staff from when it was adopted in the original text. And then some graphic exhibits showing, how that takes place for the tenant space. So staff is recommending that the application be denied as presented, and the wall sign should be modified to be a max 30 inches letter height and a max of 20 inches in width to be appropriately scaled for the sign panel that was originally approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission back in December.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. That was my question. I do recall discussing this, and this is part of, so just from my recollection, this is part, the standard is part of the development text for the Waterloo Crossing development.
So this is not a plan district, but this property, when it was zoned commercial, had an ordinance that had attachments and exhibits to it as conditions of approval. And so one of the conditions of approval was the Waterloo Crossing retail signage standards.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
What size is the Maurice's, the Sally's, the GameStop?
Maximum of 30 inches in height.
Okay. Are there, we haven't granted any variances within that district?
There's been one, it was for Staples, when Staples was constructed in 2011. The Staples variance was very unique in that it set this threshold that Five Below or Casto is trying to copy in this building design, where the sign panel was a different material than the brick on the face of the building. So when Staples was originally constructed, it was a ceramic tile that Staples letters was applied to. That variance was for the overall sign band to have the Staples branded ceramic tile behind it. So their variance at the time was for anything within that signage band area, which was 30 feet by 6 feet tall. When Casto applied for this building expansion, and I'll cover this in the next application, they have this area behind the sign called out as being a trim color. And so they did not calculate that into the signage area. And I think they even stood at that meeting saying that any signage request for a variance would have to come before you because it's not what they were presenting.
Okay. Thank you.
When Staples moved out and Planet Fitness moved in, is Planet Fitness's sign still larger like Staples was, or is it consistent?
So, interestingly enough, Planet Fitness has redone their signs twice since they've been there. Each time they've gotten smaller. The current sign they have is actually totally compliant in terms of width and height. I told them they could go bigger because they have a prior variance approval, but that sign vendor elected to match the rest of the plaza in scale for whatever reason. So if you actually, on a sunny day, go look at it, you can see like the dirt marks for the old Planet Fitness signage that was, 20% bigger is kind of behind it still.
Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Anything you wish to share on this particular application?
First off, I want to say thank you all for your time on this great evening. Just that this signage was designed with the landlord, I think that's important to keep in mind. So, and I understanding that there was recent talks before your board about that, so I understand that hesitancy to relook at this. But we just request that, given the standards of Five Below and the development it's bringing, that this be considered.
And your name, sir?
My name is Alex Barnett. I'm the permit manager for Atlantic Sign Company.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? All right, since it's a variance, I'll open it up for public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move we close.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Woldenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes, and Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
All right. That was motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Ms. Gooden. All right, we'll need a motion on this particular application.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve VA-26-004.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Deeds. Any further discussion on this?
Just to the point that was just brought up, I understand the developer was involved in the calculations and the numbers. My question would be, did they actually stop and do the calculations? We've talked about this a couple of times before, so.
Yep.
Feel like the rest of the strip area there is very consistent with its signage as well.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie?
No.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
No.
Mr. Donahue?
No.
Ms. Gooden?
No.
Ms. McDonald?
No.
Mr. Deeds? No. And Mr. Cosgrove?
No.
So VA 26-004 is not approved.
The next application, VA 26005, for the same subject property. This variance, the applicant is requesting from the Waterloo Crossing Retail Center design standards to increase the maximum graphics area for signage. When looking at the image on the screen, what I have outlined in red, the applicant is requesting to paint the approved ephes trim on the building, this blue design color to fit the graphics for Five Below. When looking at the Waterloo Crossing Retail Design Standards text, it states, notwithstanding the foregoing, the maximum graphics area of exterior signage for tenants occupying less than or equal to 20,000 square feet shall not exceed 2 square feet for each linear foot of frontage. The applicant's frontage here is 67 feet 4 inches, which would allow for a maximum of 134.66 square feet of signage. The area in blue at 25 feet by 6 feet is 150 square feet approximate. So it's in excess of the maximum permitted. When looking at what was approved in December by Planning and Zoning Commission, the ephes color was the specific Sherwin-Williams useful gray to match the brick, the accent brick on either side, which is not really represented in the applicant's proposal, as well as some of the architectural parapet caps. So staff is recommending that VA 26-005 be denied as presented, and that the ephes should remain the same that was approved by Planning and Zoning Commission with SDP 25009.
Questions for staff? Anything you wish to add, sir?
I actually do have for this one. The blue is part of the copyright logo of Five Below. And the sign that we are, which kind of contradicts my last statement, but we are not doing anything with that blue. It is not in our scope of work. It is the GC, and for our purposes, is not considered the sign. I'd also make the argument that the word graphics implies a design, and that blue, in practice, we would argue doesn't add to graphics. It's just the background, and doesn't add as much as a visual impact as, let's say, if there was graphics there. Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant?
In the mock-up here, it has blue awnings. Are they proposing blue awnings as well?
That's correct. So the building permit submittal that was submitted by the architect, that's already gone out for review, does show the blue awnings, but it does not show the ephes is painted blue. The building permit submittal does show the useful gray color that was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Is the sand, whatever the color that's on there, is that meet the 150 square foot, or is it the 150, or is it scaled down to the 134? Or does,
The This dimension here is exactly the same as this dimension.
Got it. Okay.
The difference here is the applicant is looking to change the accent material on the building to an eye-catching device that's providing a background for the sign. And so our sign code dictates signage as any kind of attracting device towards a particular tenant or user of a space or building. So by altering the approved paint scheme that was granted by the Planning and Zoning Commission to what the applicant noted, I think he said as a branded color for their corporation, is adding to the signage on the building. This is a very similar request to what Walmart has asked in the past, to paint the wall behind their Walmart main logo blue. That has already been reviewed a few times by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So if they were to leave it the taupe tan color, then probably a good idea to change the lettering to something of a blue instead. Does that?
The lettering for Five Below itself, that can
Correct.
be blue. I understand what you're asking now.
Otherwise, it's
The
going to be
lettering
white on
can-
tan, so.
The lettering can be any color.
Okay.
More than likely, they'd tape off the ephes at the 136 square foot and just paint that portion of it and leave the
Oh, the blue?
perimeter, leave the perimeter tan.
So what are we actually, are we talking about the color change and or just the size?
So the ephes change in the applicant's proposal is changing the overall signage area.
Okay.
So the ephes area is 150 square feet.
Correct.
The applicant's requesting to use all 150 square feet of that ephes for signage.
Got it.
So if they limit it to the, what was it, 134,
Change.
it can be blue?
I'm not one to push a bad idea, I suppose.
Okay. I'll retract the question.
Any other questions for staff or the applicant? All right, well, I'll open it up for public hearing.
Am I allowed to re-comment during the public hearing?
You can comment now.
Yeah, anytime.
I just want to, Mr. Moore, kind of inquire about what you meant by attention attracting material.
Yeah, so let me pull up our zoning code here, because it is very specific.
This is not an interrogation, we're not questioning.
Oh, I apologize, I wasn't trying to be, I was just curious.
To the commission, but not to staff.
So what's the question?
As, you know, being in the signage industry, I've not come into contact with that, other than, you know, maybe a digital display being an attention-getting device or material. I don't agree that blue is attention-getting in any, other than any other color, more so. So that's my comment on that.
Yeah, and I'll just say for the commission and for you, so prior to this evening, I did research several Five Below across different areas of the country that I know have similar development standards, and there are Five Belows out there that exist, you know, for the commission's knowledge that you may or may not know, with non-blue background and different types of size and those sorts of things based on development text and all those sorts of things. So I do think consistency with what we talked about with the development plan that was approved in December by this commission is important to consider, as well as previous applications that we've heard from other tenants within this Waterloo Crossing shopping district. All right, so I'll open it up for public hearing.
Seeing none, I move to close public hearing.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Gooden. We'll give that second to Mr. Paulsgrove. Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes. And Mr. Paulsgrove?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve variance VA-26-005.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Mr. Ritchie. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie?
No.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
No.
Mr. Donahue?
No.
Ms. Gooden?
No.
Ms. McDonald?
No.
Mr. Deeds? No. And Mr. Paulsgrove?
No.
All right, so VA 26-005 has not been approved.
The next application is VA 26006. The applicant is requesting a variance from Chapter 1189.07B1 to allow for window signs to exceed the maximum 25% allowable coverage per window. Staff went through and roughly calculated the signage based off of the dimensions provided in the applicant's plan. All three windows exceed the max 25%. The left window at 36.8, the central at 36.8, and the right window at 100%. All three exceed the max 25% for signage on the building. When looking at our criteria for approval, special circumstances or conditions do not exist. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved the design for the tenant space, which included the storefront facade that was consistent in the window treatment and design for the rest of the plaza. The proposed tenant space needs to be altered from their prototypical floor plan to be compliant with local zoning regulations. When looking at the building permits that came in, the reasoning behind this signage, which has since been corrected by the architect, mind you, they had 3 shelves behind this window sign that block the window. I notified the architect and they've since removed those shelves in their building permits. And then behind this signage here, there are self-serving registers that are kind of like little kiosks that are up by the front of the building. The applicant was using this graphics area to screen some of that, which is not the whole length of the building, but kind of inconsistent hit or miss across that frontage. The literal interpretation of the zoning code requires windows to be utilized to see inside the building. Allowing the window on a newly planned building, has yet to be constructed, to be covered up only makes the architectural feature obsolete, but it provides the tenant with an additional 228.365 square feet of signage that is beyond what all other tenants are permitted to have. The special conditions and circumstances do not exist for the proposal and are direct actions from the applicant. Granting this variance will put undue privilege on the tenant space, and that granting this variance would affect the public health, safety, convenience, comfort, prosperity, and general welfare for the community. Allowing the windows to be fully blocked removes the functionality of the glazing and creates a public safety risk for those inside of the building. Additionally, the proposal is requesting an increase in signage that far exceeds that is permitted for the tenant. So staff is recommending that VA 26006 be denied as presented. The applicant should design the layout, the interior of the space to comply with the local zoning regulations rather than additional signage to cover up their interior, which again, since this has been put together, the architect has. But the commercial development standards require an unobstructed view of the building interior to a depth of 4 feet. This request is to position your interior floor plan to utilize windows, to not come up with this type of situation to block the glazing for your interior floor plan's sake.
Thank you. Questions for staff? Comments? Anything the applicant wishes to add?
Very quick on this one, seeing that they are moving those shelves, which more just for administrative reasons on our side, why we left it in the variance request. If we were to remove that and take the branding off of the signage on the bottom, because those left and center windows are not fully covered. It's just that bottom portion. If we were to take the branding off that, I don't know if the board would be more receptive to that or if it would be compliant. I'm not sure. I haven't looked that far into the code. But it is something that they would consider.
So, Mr. Moore, I think that, to help answer his question, I think that's the way in the code in this particular district is, we look at it as the same as window glazing or frosting, correct?
Yeah, so this would be almost 2 different variance requests. One's for signage. If the signage is changed to just obscure the building, Chapter 1199.03 requires an unobstructed view of the building's interior to a depth of 4 feet. So the sheer massing of this is violating that section as well.
We're talking about the left and center?
Yeah, the left and the center would need to be reduced to 25% of the area of the windows.
And right now, they are 37%.
Yeah, one of the things that this
But-
building design's a little different from Planet Fitness is Planet Fitness doesn't feature these two bottom panes across their windows. They actually have a knee wall all the way across their storefront. Again, from my end, if Five Below is going in this building from the beginning, the building should have been designed to be a little more accommodating for the tenant.
And so part B to my question, the branding on the sign, the branding on the material that is prohibiting the glass, to be able to see through the glass, the branding doesn't matter.
Branding doesn't matter. You need to have 4 feet unobstructed view into the building.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this one? All right, I'll open it up for public comment.
Seeing none, I move to close.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Gooden, second by Mr. Deeds. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Gooden.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes, and Mr. Cosgrove.
Yes. And so, could you go back one, Mr. Moore? So for my own knowledge, so the right window that currently is shown at 100%, the architect has redesigned the floor plan, but they are still asking for that percentage of glass to be covered through this application.
Correct. And that was something that I let the applicant here this evening know about before they filed, and they elected to move forward with the variances as you see them.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have a motion?
All right, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion, we approve variance VA-26-006.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Mr. Ritchie. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie.
No.
Mr. Willenthaler.
No.
Mr. Donahue.
No.
Ms. Gooden.
No.
Ms. McDonald.
No.
Mr. Deeds, no, and Mr. Paulsgrove.
No. All right, so VA 26-006 is not approved.
The next application for the subject property is VA 26007. The applicant is requesting a variance from 1189.07B2 to allow for more than 2 window signs. So up on the screen, unlike the last discussion, the applicant is requesting a total of 3 window signs that have been numbered up on the screen. Chapter 1189.07B2 allows for a maximum of 2 window signs for a single business establishment. Staff is recommending that VA 26007 be denied as presented. I'll make that one easy.
Questions for staff? Anything the applicant wishes to add?
I'll forfeit my time.
I'll open up for public hearing.
Move we close.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Ms. Gooden. Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Willenthaler.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Ms. Gooden.
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes, and Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Chair, motion to approve variance VA-26-007.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Mr. Ritchie. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie.
No.
Mr. Willenthaler.
No.
Mr. Donahue.
No.
Ms. Gooden.
No.
Ms. McDonald.
No.
Mr. Deeds, no, and Mr. Paulsgrove.
Yeah, no. All right, so VA 26007 is not approved.
The last application for tonight's agenda is Final Development Plan 26-001. The location of the subject property is parcel ID 042-0837800. The request this evening is for a new 11,411 square foot fire station for the Violet Township Fire Department. The subject parcel is approximately 5.8 acres. It is located on the south side of BC Road. The property is owned by the Violet Township Board of Trustees and is adjacent to Busey Road Park, which is owned and operated by the township. Properties to the west are multifamily buildings in the city limits. To the north are large lot residential homes located in the township. The subject parcel is zoned Planned Residential District and is subject to the Green Gates development text and conditions adopted by 52-01. The 5.86 acre parcel is adjacent to a second parcel owned by Violet Township, which is the 20 acre Busey Road Park. The applicant is requesting approval for the new fire station on this 5.86 acre property. Just for some existing context for your review, the site is outlined by this heavy black line. Busey Road Park and kind of its current configuration is shown on the screen. The Green Gate Boulevard here on the left-hand side of the screen. Redwood Apartments on the north side of the screen. And then the Ryan Homes Green Gate Cove community is in this kind of chunk over here. The applicant is requesting to approval for the new fire station. The site plan has 2 access drives on Busey Road, a full ingress egress here on the far west side of the frontage, and then an exit only on the east side of the frontage. The applicant is also proposing to have a secondary connection with a private drive going to Green Gate Boulevard. My red little hatches here are notes for this automatic gate that the applicant is proposing to construct. So this private drive will not be open for the public, but is intended for emergency vehicle access only. When talking with the fire department on the need for this private access drive to the south, the Hill Road and Busey Road intersection is angled very extremely and is a blind intersection with that existing structure. So to make the turning movements more efficiently and safely, this private access drive will basically serve as them heading east out of this substation rather than using Busey Road itself. When looking at the site plan, the applicant is showing a total of 19 parking stalls. 4 are located in front of the building, which are accessible to the public. The remainder are located behind the automatic gate to the rear of the facility and is for employee parking. The site plan does show an extension of the 8-foot multi-use path along Busey Road across the site's frontage. The trail extension through the rest of Busey Road Park is not being proposed at this time. A 5-foot sidewalk connection is provided from the front of the building, multi-use trail. The applicant on this exhibit, sorry I'm staying on this one for so long, is showing their proposed utility extensions to the building. Sanitary sewer will come from the west along the frontage of Busey Road. Water will be extended from Green Gate Boulevard with this blue line. This blue line will be a public water main extension. The plans are not labeled that way, but staff is recommending as a condition of approval that this will be a public water main with a easement on it throughout the entirety of their site. Just so it's noted in the conditions of Planning and Zoning Commission, this will be a public water main extension. Stormwater will be provided with a basin located behind the facility. When looking at a more zoomed in version of the site plan, again, you can see here their full ingress egress along Busey, the exit only. This portion of the building, when I get to the elevations, is the garage bays. So emergency vehicles will pull in from the back and will leave out of the front. When looking at this plan as well, there's an existing tree line the applicant is proposing to retain, would serve as a buffer between the fire station and the apartments directly to the east. The access drive connection to Green Gate Boulevard, again, is shown in this graphic. Landscape plan, the applicant is proposing to plant a total of 23 trees for the project. The trees are positioned in a way for the fire department to not have line of sight issues in front of the building while still meeting the requirements for landscaping in the overlay district. For the lighting plan, the applicant, I did put one in here. The lighting plan, applicant is showing to do decorative bell-shaped fixtures on 18-foot light poles, meeting the standards for the overlay district as well. From an architectural standpoint, this building is really subdivided into two distinctive areas internally. The east side of the structure is the garage bays and fitness room. The west side of the building is the offices and living quarters of the firehouse. There is a mezzanine on a portion of the building for mechanical equipment. When looking at the exterior of the building is noted to be 32 feet tall and comprises of a mix of CMU block, concrete quick brick, precast concrete ledges, board and batten metal siding, and standing seam metal roofing. The applicant has provided renderings in your packet for showing the proposal is an earth tone structure with bright red metal garage doors. A material palette has also been submitted for each of the items for your review. Signage has not been proposed at this time, which the applicant will be required to submit later to amend their final development plan when those details are available. So staff is recommending that final development plan be approved with the following conditions: that the applicant provides an easement on the public water main extension through the site, and the applicant submits a signage plan for future review. This will be a recommendation to City Council as part of the zoning requirements for the property. This site does go to City Council for their final review.
Thank you. So I have one question, and I think this is a great project. Obviously, anytime we can put more first responders into our community and neighborhoods is a great thing. I'm just curious, any conversation from the township to the city as it relates to the private drive that's proposed to go out onto Greengate Boulevard, if that will be utilized for a majority of their runs in terms of leaving the facility with lights and sirens in a residential area?
Yeah, that would be a question for the applicant. They didn't provide any statistics for us on that.
Okay.
But staff did ask the necessity for the drive, just a lot of road, really. And the response that was provided was for that existing condition on Hill Road.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
Did they discuss putting the dumpster outside of the gate?
So the overlay district requires dumpsters to be located behind the building. Part of this discussion with the dumpster location, the fire department felt that the trash company would also use the private access drive to, instead of turn around their lot to leave, go down Greengate Boulevard. I'm assuming that's whatever the trash company ends up finding more efficient, but that's what was contemplated.
Any other questions for staff? It's the applicant.
Good evening. Jason Smith, the Assistant Fire Chief. Brett Bowen and I and the trustees would like to thank you for your time tonight. Just with this project, Chief Bowen and I have been assessing the situation. We've constantly trying to, how can we get a station down south to better serve our community down this way, because we know we have an extended period of response time down here. So this is our opportunity. We felt it was time, with the growth that's there and the growth that's coming, that we need to get a station further south to help better serve this part of our district. So with that, just to speak of the private drive, we do have a lot of concerns and have since this property was given to the fire department a few years back, just with the current intersection of the Busey Hill Road, and it's tough enough with cars, and we take a fire truck down through there, we have severe concerns of our line of sight and the line of sight of the cars coming north on Hill Road. So the thought was with the private drive would just be when we're going east on runs, and not routinely on any run, but just for that, covering that for when we would have to inherit that intersection. And the reason for the gates is we didn't want that to become a raceway for people being able to see that from Busey Road, and that becoming a drag strip, so.
I'd be shocked.
We wanted to eliminate that from the get-go, and so we talked about that, and with our fob system, we can work with the trash company about setting up. But we also felt keeping that out of that district, the residents, keeping that in a nice area that's just not a trash dumpster sitting in the front of the station for aesthetics would be better for the community as well. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Yeah, thank you for answering that on the private drive. Any questions for the applicant?
Any changes to the park?
No changes at this time to the park. We've met with the soccer crew, some of the groups that practice down there, and have gone over that with them as well.
Will the lot that your station's on, will that be fenced?
No, it'll stay open. Literally, the gates are just there so people don't use that as a raceway.
And that private drive will be maintained by the township.
Correct.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thanks, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. All right, so again, this would be a recommendation to approve and move to city council for adoption.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I move we make a recommendation to council to approve FDP 26-001
Second.
with the conditions.
Second?
Yeah, and I'll ask for the applicant, so you're okay with the two conditions of providing an easement for the public water extension and then submitting future signage as part of the project? Okay, thank you. All right, motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Paulsgrove. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Wildenfeller?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes?
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds? Yes. And Mr. Paulsgrove?
Yes. Okay, so FDP 26-001 has been recommended to city council for approval.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Be a great addition to the community.
Yes, good luck.
Thank you.
For old business, steering committee for the zoning code update is finally meeting again. No, the two of you on here have been waiting patiently. March 24th, 1 o'clock, we're going to be going over the draft of Module 1. Module 1 is the bulk of the changes to the code. I sent an email out today with that draft, so if you haven't checked it or received it, look at your spam folder. They're sending out that draft as an interactive PDF, so you can actually comment and see everybody's comments. So please don't be mad at me when you open it, you see 115 comments I made today on it. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of how to comment, and I went overboard, but it's live, so you'll be able to see what all the other steering committee members are making. It's also meant to reduce some redundancy in the comments and to, have a more dialogue conversation, hopefully make the meeting go faster. I've heard from at least one person on the committee that the Outlook link I sent did not work, so if it does not work for either of you, let me know and I'll send a new one.
Okay.
And then Luke has some business about the housing council appointment that he needs to get from you this evening.
Yeah, so the city has a housing council, and the Planning and Zoning Commission appoints a member of that housing council. Mr. Paulsgrove has been the appointment on that commission the last few years for a 2-year term. But the housing council meets once annually, and we go actually tour all the facilities that are receiving the benefits of a real estate tax incentive. And so we do that all in one day. That day this year is going to be on March 26th. And so it is an all day long. We start at 8 in the morning and we go till 4:30 in the afternoon. It is a lot of walking.
Wear comfortable shoes.
It's a lot of walking. We visit, I don't know how many we're doing this year. It's between 15 and 20 locations that we visit and walk. So if anyone is interested in that appointment, it is available on March 26th.
I did it last year, and I'm willing to do it again.
Great.
So moved.
It was actually very interesting.
It's very
but it was
interesting,
exhausting,
yeah.
but you're right, it's exhausting. but it was
Especially the
fun.
robotics.
Yeah. And what was the one, the Coke truck guys, there were some really fascinating things going on in the torpedoes. But yeah, I'll do it,
Right.
unless someone else wants to.
Next.
All right.
That is all I have for all new business, unless you guys have anything for me.
Any guy have any new business? All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Deeds, second by Ms. Gooden. Roll call.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Wildenthaler?
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Ms. Gooden?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds, yes, and Mr. Cosgrove?
Timeout 8:10 PM.